Find all of these seals written about there by Christ in his teaching there in that chapter. And well, if you have a companion Bible, we'll pull it up on the screen there for you. You can see how Dr. Bollinger has aligned each seal from Revelation chapter 6 with Matthew chapter 24. And there you have it there. This is one of the reasons why a companion Bible is such an amazing tool. So we get here, we know there are going to be great signs. And as we're going to find out, this sixth seal looks forward to the time of the very end. The time when God's wrath will just be poured out upon this earth like never before. And we'll read the next couple of verses here in a minute to see how that takes place. But I think it's important. I found this in as I was doing research on this, I found this from the Sayce Bible commentary in relation to this verse that we just read, verse 12. And Dr. Sayce says here, extraordinary obscurations of the sun have more than once happened, and they can just as readily be made to happen again, if God so wills, and in a still more marvelous degree of intensity. On the 19th of May, 1780, a wonderfully dark day was experienced throughout the northeastern portion of this country. The witnesses of it have described it as a supernatural and unaccountable. It was not an ordinary eclipse, for the moon was nearly at the full. It was not owing to a clouded condition of the atmosphere, for the stars were visible. Yet it was so dark from 9 o'clock in the morning throughout the usual hours of sunshine that work had to be suspended. Houses had to be lit with candles. The beasts and the fowls went to their rest as in the nighttime. And though the sun was visible, it had the appearance of being shorn of all of its power of illumination. Connect such occurrence with the general convulsions which have just been described. Extend it over the world, intensify it according to the description of the text, and you may form some conception of this feature of what the opening of the sixth seal shall bring. And I find that to be a fascinating description and true. Yes, there has been many spectacular events like this in the heavens. In the past, you can even go back to the time when God delivered the children of Israel from Egypt with the 10 plagues. But even in more recent history. But extend those things and the things that happened with the 10 plagues that happened in Egypt. Extend those over the entire world. And what we're going to see the power of God. What an amazing thing. And he wants you to know that these things will come to pass. Let's read on. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places, indicating to us there is a great shaking coming. And those of you who are familiar with the Katabal of that happened between Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 and 1 verse 2, you kind of have an idea of how that happened before. There was a great shaking before, and you can see it all over the earth. There's the scars. There's meteor craters. There's great upliftings around different mountainous regions. And you can see that many great and catastrophic changes have happened here on earth. It just, when you look out at some of those things, when you look at geology, it just kind of, when I was at one place, actually, is the Petrified Forest. I believe it was in Arizona or New Mexico, one of those two. When I was driving there looking at those trees in the middle of the desert that were petrified, and they were they were huge trees. And you could just see them laying all over the desert there. Where one time that desert was a forest, a lush forest. But something came through and wiped them out, just probably instantly. And you know what? It made me feel like I was on some kind of an ancient battlefield or something. An ancient battlefield where God's hand did some shaking. And he has done it in the past, and he will do it again. And that's what that word katabul means. It means a great destruction, a great casting down. And those of you who haven't studied that, you can listen to our study titled The Three World Ages on our YouTube channel, Christian Overcomers 2. But after reading that, there's another place in the SACE Bible commentary that I thought would be great to read, and concerning these stars that fall from heaven. What, a lot of people say, there's not going to be stars that fall from heaven, because if stars fall from heaven to the earth would just explode. But you know what? What do we call those meteors that streak through the sky? Like that. Or asteroids, things of that nature. We call them shooting stars. I believe this is speaking of the same exact thing. It's just like such a great meteor shower, or some may even hit the earth. And God describes it like a fig tree being shaken of a mighty wind, and then they just go boom, right on the earth. But let's read about what Dr. Sayce has to say about it. He says, a most marvelous meteoric shower of this class was witnessed on the night of the 13th of November, 1833. It is perhaps remembered by many now present. During the 3 hours of its continuance, hundreds and thousands of people of all classes were thrown into the utmost consternation and filled with the belief that the very scene described in this text was actually transpiring. Fiery balls of luminous and numerous as the stars came darting after each other from the sky, with vivid streaks of light trailing in the track of each. They were of various sizes and degrees of splendor, flashing as they fell, and so bright as to awaken people from their sleep. It seemed as if every star in the firmament had suddenly shot from its sphere and was falling to the earth, and all who saw it will bear witness that it was a most terrific spectacle. Conceive then of a repetition of that scene, intensified and extended according to the spirit of this vision, with stunning explosions added to the general commotion, and the alarming rush of hissing balls of fire darting like raindrops from the sky, and you have exactly what John foresaw in this part of his vision of the opening of the sixth seal. I thought that was a great example on the minor scale of what could happen worldwide. Think about it. God is going to show his power. You know what? All these things that happen in this book of Revelation from here on out kind of centered around the day of judgment. God was sitting upon his throne. These seals were the verdicts or the judgments that were to transpire on the earth, because he isn't too happy with what's going on. And you know what? Things are going to get to the point on this earth where God's fury is going to boil over. And that's going to be the time when the Antichrist sets himself up in the temple of God, claiming to the world that he is God. And that's what's going to bring these things upon them. So let's continue on. Imagine that. Not only will the heaven be shaken, but the earth will be, I should say it this way. Not only will the earth be shaken, but the heavens will be shaken as well. And this was foretold of in the book of Isaiah and in many other books in the Old Testament, where God said, I will rise up. I will shake the heavens once more like I did before. And it will come to pass. Verse 15, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Okay, they were afraid. What did they say? And said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us, hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? And you know what? Nobody who is opposed to God will be able to stand at this time. God is going to humble them so much that they are going to do everything they can to try to hide from God's wrath. They're going to try to hide in the mountains, cover themselves in the rocks, but you know what? You cannot run from God. And they will finally learn their lesson once and for all times that Almighty God is on the throne and He is in control, and He alone is the supreme judge of the universe. You know, I cannot wait until that day, until that time. And you know what? It's just so befitting that there's a mighty windstorm going on out there right now. A little bit distracting as we're reading these verses. You know, sometimes I think God has a sense of humor. He likes to show His power and show that He's in control. And how fascinating this is going to be. You know what? These people here, the kings of the earth, the rich men, and all the regular people, even down to the lowest class, these are all the people that scoffed at God, mocked at His word, said, "Oh, you're going to read that Bible? You know, that's that book's that book isn't true, or that book is hateful. It's not tolerant enough," and all these things. Finally, they're going to get an awakening. And do I look forward to that time?